Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to discuss about arrow functions. Arrow functions were introduced in ES6 and they allow us to write shorter functions. So in the last video we have created these functions and now we will convert these into arrow functions. So let's do that. So before writing arrow functions, I will convert this method and write it in another way. So first I will comment it and let add is equal to function and then we can pass our parameters here. So AB and return A plus B. So now if we call this function, it will work as the same. So let's add comma B. If I comment this, you will not see. If I comment this, and now let's uncomment this and write document dot write and you will see it here. So let's change this to 4 and you will see 9 here. So now let's change this function to arrow function. So in order to write an arrow function, we will remove this function keyword and write here is equal to greater than sign. So now this function is converted to arrow function and it is working as same as before. So let's say change it to 2 and we can see 7. Let's change it to 2 and you will see 4 here. Okay, so we have successfully converted this method to an arrow function, but we can reduce this code further. So let's say we have only one line of code in the function, so we will remove these brackets and we can write the same thing in the same line, and we don't need to write the return keyword here, as the result of AB will be written automatically. So let's say A plus B is equal to 4. So A is 2 and B is 2. So we have write this code in a single line. So now let's say we want to welcome a user. So first we will create a function. So welcome user. And we will pass the parameter user to it and we will say welcome return welcome and plus user. And now let's call this function. So document dot write and welcome user and we will pass a name. So let's say fun and you can see welcome Khan is shown in the screen. Let's do this and comment this one as well. So you can see welcome Khan. Now let's write it in one line. So you can write an arrow function like this, but in this case, as you can see, we have only one parameter. So we can remove these brackets and we can write it like this. So if you have a single parameter, you can pass it like this, so there is no need of the parenthesis. But if you have multiple parameters, you need to pass it inside the parenthesis. Okay, so now let's convert this method, this function, to an arrow function. For example, I will comment this first, and then I will comment this one. Now let's write let is logged in, for example, and we are creating a function and we are accepting two variable, two parameters, so username and password. And then the rest will be the same, so I will copy it from there and paste it here. And now let's write let's call this function, so is logged in, and we will pass two values, so admin and slash. You can see already false here. So as soon as we write admin, you will see true here. So now let's comment this one, so you can see true. If we change this, so you will see false because the values don't match our condition, so we are returning false. And by the way, you can remove these as well and you will see the same results. So let's change it again, and you can see if we have a single line for if statement or else statement, you can write it like this as well. Now let's create another method. So first let's comment these ones, and now let's say we want to multiply a number by 2, so you will say let multiply by 2, so equal to, so you will pass a number, and the number multiplied by 2. And document dot write multiply, and we will pass a number. Let's say first 4 and then return. So you can see 8 But if you don't like this, so you can write it the other way around as well. So here you can see the same result. But if you write it like this, you need to return it. Otherwise, if you don't return it, you will not see the value. So you need to return it. Otherwise, if you write it in the single line, then you don't need to return it. So now let's comment this and create another function. Let's E1. So let is E1. So we will check if the number is E1 or not. So as E1, we will pass a number. So a number, and then we will check it if number is divided by 2 and the remainder is 0, then it is E1. Then we will return E1. Otherwise, we will return odd. So now let's call this method. Document attract, and we will call it now. So is E1, and let's say we are passing 8. So 8 is E1. If we pass 7, so 7 is, yeah, I forgot to write to return here, and okay, and it's hard here. So now let's say we want to write this method in a single line. Okay, so you will use a ternary operator. So if this is the case, we will return E1. Otherwise, we will return false, odd. So we can write the same function like this as well. So we are passing a number, and now we don't need these parentheses here. So we are passing a number, and we are dividing it by 2, and if the remainder is 0, then we will return E1. Otherwise, we will return odd. So the number is 7. That's why it is odd. If we write here 10, then it will be E1. Anyway, this syntax has nothing to do with arrow function. It is the ternary operator, and we will discuss this further in detail. But it is check the value. If it's true, then we will return this. Otherwise, if it's false, we will return this one. So that's it. In arrow functions, we can create a method in a single line as short as possible. So that's all about arrow functions, and see you in the next video.